It all started with a handshake and a promise. "This neighborhood takes care of its own," the realtor said with a smile as we unloaded boxes into our new home. It was everything we wanted: quiet streets, neat lawns, and just far enough from the city to feel safe. My kids ran through the sprinkler that first day, and my wife stood in the doorway, tears in her eyes. "This is it," she whispered. "Home." 3 months later, we weren't allowed to park in our own driveway. And that was just the beginning. At first, it felt like a series of small annoyances. A fine for leaving our trash bins out an hour too, a warning about the color of our mailbox flag. But then things got strange, unfair, almost targeted. We tried to play nice. We went to meetings. We smiled. We paid every ridiculous fee. But they weren't done with us. Because when we tried to move, when we finally decided we'd had enough of the HOA's petty rules and toxic control, we found out something that made our blood run cold. They wouldn't let us leave. And that's when I decided if they wanted a fight, they picked the wrong family. The house sat at the end of a cul-de-sac lined with American flags and retired Labradors. It was a classic suburban setup, well-kept lawns, mailboxes that matched, and a homeowners association that promised community harmony and neighborhood standards. The president of the HOA, Marlene, was the type of person who introduced herself by handing you a rulebook. She showed up at our door within a week of moving in, smile tight as a noose. "Just so you're aware," she said, "your grass is exactly a 1/4 inch too long." We laughed. She didn't. At first, we thought it was just an overzealous neighbor. But then came the letters, the citations, the unexpected inspections. We got fined for things we didn't even know were rules, like having a garden hose visible from the street. We adjusted. We complied. We trimmed the grass. We bought a hose box. Then came the real kicker. We received a $500 fine for a non-approved lawn ornament. It was a solar-powered owl meant to keep raccoons away from our trash bins. That's when I noticed something weird. Marlene had the exact same owl in her yard. I brought it up at the next HOA meeting. Her response? "That's grandfathered in." "You're not." The room laughed. That was just the beginning. Over the next few months, things went from annoying to flat-out insane. Our backyard fence was suddenly too tall despite passing inspection when we moved in. They demanded we shorten it, then fined us for doing so without approval. One morning, we woke up to a citation for an unauthorized vehicle in the driveway. It was my teenage daughter's bicycle. We appealed. We got ignored. Then our mailbox disappeared. No note, no warning, just gone. When I confronted Marlene about it, she smiled and said, "Maybe next time you'll follow the chain of command." My wife cried that night. My kids started whispering that the neighborhood was cursed. And I began documenting everything. Every fine, every meeting, every sarcastic smirk Marlene threw our way. Then came the real gut punch. After months of enduring this madness, we decided to sell. We found a buyer, signed papers, got ready to move, and then the HOA blocked the sale. They claimed pending violations made our property unsellable until we paid an additional $8,300 in fines. Fines they wouldn't detail. Fines that kept increasing the more we questioned them. They had us trapped, or so they thought. I spent 2 weeks building a case. I dug through bylaws, collected signatures, and called every neighbor who had been quietly bullied into silence. Turns out we weren't alone. I filed a formal complaint with the county. But more importantly, I posted every documented HOA abuse, every ridiculous fine, every video from meetings online, anonymously. I even made a parody Instagram account at HOA Hellscape. It exploded. Then came the audit. Turns out, Marlene had been mismanaging funds for years. HOA dues were going into maintenance contracts with her cousin's landscaping company, who never actually showed up. The board was furious. I showed up at the next meeting with a simple sign taped to my chest. Transparency is not a violation. Marlene didn't speak that night. She just stared. By the end of the month, the HOA held an emergency vote. Marlene was removed. The new board reviewed every one of our violations and voided 90% of them. The remaining ones, waived. We sold our house within 2 weeks. As we drove away, I rolled down the window, waved to the new HOA president, and said, "Don't forget to water your owl." She laughed. Poetic justice? Maybe. But the real win was showing my kids that bullies can be beaten, especially the ones hiding behind bylaws. I'll be honest, moving here was a mistake. But leaving? That was a masterclass in standing your ground. If you've ever been pushed around by a system that thinks it can't be touched, remember, it only works if you stay silent. Would you have fought back, or just paid the fines and left quietly? Comment "Justice served" if you made it to the end and share your worst HOA horror story below. Don't forget to subscribe for more true stories that feel stranger than fiction. Because next time, it might just be your neighbor watching.